So I'm rolling back to New York City in the airport, so I'm going to do this the best I can on a Tuesday. The Cavs by 10 over Toronto, and they were laying 9.5 hooks, so they covered. Mitchell had a 30-burger. This guy has a 30 spot every single playoff game. He's a freak. Harden added 28. Cleveland gets it done. They lead the series 2-0. How about Atlanta? They steal the game, getting 5.5, and they win it at the Garden 107-106. McCollum leads the late rally. He had 32. They tie the series at once. Now it'll go to Atlanta, to Hot Town. They'll play at State Farm for the next two games. He led a late surge that almost was for naught when he missed two free throws with 5 seconds left. The Knicks rushed the ball up the court. Bridges missed a jumper at the buzzer. That was that. Hawks had trailed the entire second half. They were down by as many as 12, but they win the game, and that is absolutely enormous. How about Minnesota? They got it done in Denver, 119-114. They had a big deficit early, but it didn't bother the T-Wolves, and they did it 2 years ago, the biggest Game 7 comeback in history. This time, that was a 20-point hole they climbed out of to advance to the Western Conference Finals. This time they overcame being 19 down, and they rallied to win by 5, 119-114, behind 30 from Ant Edwards, 24 from Randall, to tie that first-round series at one game apiece. Murray had 30 for Denver, which had won 13 straight games since losing for the last time on March 18th. The Nuggets jumped out 44-25. After outscoring the Wolves 39-25 in the first, the Nuggets matched. They were just going off the first game. They were just doing everything right. And then Minnesota flipped the script and came back. Edwards did a lot better, 22-point first game. This time he goes off in game 2. And the bottom line is Edwards turned the ball over with 31 seconds left, and Brown got fouled at the other end after Joker passed up a floater to tie it. Brown missed one of the two, leaving Denver trailing 115-114 with 19 seconds left. Then Randall sank a couple of free throws, and DiVincenzo added a breakaway slam to cap the comeback and get the win. Like I said, now they'll go to the Target in Minneapolis, 1-1. Baseball, Boston 8-6 over Detroit. They get it done at Fenway. Rafaela's tie-breaking two-run single in the 7th inning was the difference for the Red Sox. We had Cleveland on a ticket. They got smoked by the shitty Astros, 9-2. Paredes hit the first 2 home runs of the season for him. He hit a couple of them. Miami, 5-3 winner over St. Louis in South Florida. Agustin Ramirez homered and Max Meyer pitched into the 6th inning for the Fish. Cincinnati wins every game they play. 6-1, they rock Tampa at the Trop. Rookie Sal Stewart hits his 8th home run for Cincinnati. It's unbelievable. They're 15-8. Atlanta, that's all they do is win. 9-4, they pound Washington in D.C. The elder statesman strikes out 6 in 6 2/3. Olsen had 3 RBIs for the Braves as well as they continue to roll. Cubs over the Phillies. We did cash a Cubs ticket, 5-1 at Wrigley. Diarrhea pitched into the 7th. Cubs beat the Phillies on the north side of Chicago. In 12, Baltimore 7-5 in Kansas City. Tavares hits his first career Grand Slam breakfast for the O's. And they get it done in 12 innings. Dodgers pound Colorado. I told you they would yesterday on Ferrall Unplugged. 12-3 was the final at Coors. Muncy and Rushing both homered, not once, but twice for LA. Toronto 5-2 over the Angels at the Big A. C strikes out 12 in 5 innings. And the A's 6-4 over Seattle in the Pacific Northwest. Carlos Cortez goes 4 for 5 with a home run for Sacktown. How about hockey? The Flyers did it again to the Penguins, and I had the Penguins on a ticket, and I took it in the ass. 3-0. They kicked their ass. Vladar stops 27 shots. Martone scored for the 2nd straight game. The kid's 19 years old. 3-0. They win the game in Pittsburgh, and now they go back to Philadelphia with a 2-0 lead in the best-of-7 series. Double overtime. Carolina 3-2 over Ottawa. Martinook's goal gives them the win. He beat Olmark at 13:53 of the second overtime in Raleigh. Dallas evened up their series with Minnesota with a 4-2 win at the AA and the Big D. Wyatt Johnston scored goals on a ricochet and a roller, and Duchesne had the tie-breaking goal. And in the other game, so now that series is 1 apiece. By the way, Carolina's up 2-0 in that series. I told you Philly's up 2-0 on Pittsburgh. They're in big trouble, mister. And Edmonton beat Anaheim 4-3. Kapanen's second goal of the game with 1:54 left gives the Oilers the win. Let's look what's happening on a Tuesday. You got 3 NBA playoff games. 7 o'clock, Philly at Boston. Boston laying 13.5. 216.5 is the number. At 8 o'clock, there's a doubleheader on NBC. Portland and San Antonio off the Riverwalk in San Antonio. Spurs up 1-0 in the series. They're laying 11.5. 220 and a hook is the number. That Boston series, Celtics are up 1-0 in that. And then the nightcap on NBC at 10:30 at the Krypton, Lipstick City. Lakers getting 5.5. They lead 1-0 over the Rockets. Rockets on the road. They need KD back to get into that series. Baseball. 6:10 Houston at Cleveland. Walt Weiss against Messick for the Guardians. 6:40 Milwaukee and Detroit. Harrison against Montero at Comerica. 6:40 St. Louis is at Miami. Mayday against Paddock. 6:40 Cincinnati and Tampa. Burns against Mats. 6:45 the Yankees are at Fenway to start up a series with the Red Sox. Heel against Quinn Early. 6:45 Atlanta at Washington. Lopez against Griffin. Forrest Griffin. 7:10 Minnesota and the Mets at Citi Field. Woods Richardson against McClain. John McClain. 7:40 Phillies at the Cubs. Luzardo against Imanaga. 7:40 Baltimore's at Kansas City. Boz against Bubik Hair. 8:05 Pirates are in Texas. Mudzinski against John Rocker. 8:40 San Diego and Colorado. Vasquez and Bernardino. San Bernardino. 9:38 Toronto's at the Big A against the Angels. Corbett against Kokainowitz. 9:40 A's at Seattle. Lopez against Castillo. 9:40 White Sox and Zona. Sean Burke, the goalie, against Merrill Lynch Kelly. And 9:45 the rivalry continues. It's the Dodgers and Giants at Oracle in the city. In the way. Yamamoto for LA. Raup for San Francisco. There's 4 Stanley Cup games. Montreal leads Tampa 1-0 after they took game 1 in Tampa. They're playing again. Tampa's heavy, minus 190. That's on the Deuce at 7. 7:30 on ESPN. Boston and shovel off to Buffalo. Sabres with a huge third period took game 1. They're favored minus $1.78. 6.5 is the total. 9:30 on the Deuce. Utah down 1 in the series to Vegas. In Vegas, the Knights are minus $1.58. And at 10 on ESPN, LA and Colorado. Colorado won game 1 2-1. Expect more of the same. The total's 5.5. Colorado's favored minus 3 bills. You got to be kidding me. All right, now let's look at fast forward Ferrall in your facial. All the stories that matter and even stories that don't. Edwin Diaz is going to undergo arthroscopic surgery to remove loose bodies in his elbow. The timeline looks like 2 to 3 months that he'll be out. Bryson DeChambeau planning his exit strategy from Live Golf. He wants to get back on the PGA Tour. Live Golf's going under. The 2030 Super Bowl is going to be held in Nashville, Tennessee, allegedly. And then Atlanta 28, Las Vegas 29, 2030, Nashville. And they're building a new stadium that's swanky. Apple CEO Tim Cook is stepping down after leading the company in the post-Steve Jobs era. He'll be replaced by longtime executive at Apple. Let's see if I can get this guy's name. John Tiernan. Very exciting. I've never heard of him. Victor Wembanyama, the Spurs, the first unanimous Defensive Player of the Year. He'll be the Defensive Player of the Year now every year for the next 10 years. Carlos, don't call me Alcaraz, confirmed he's doubtful to play in the French Open at Roland Garros because he's got a wrist injury. He's the defending champ. Mike Krzyzewski's grandson charged in a fatal DWI crash, which left a 15-year-old boy dead. I guess that kid won't be coaching basketball anytime soon. Krzyzewski's grandson. The Rams and MVP quarterback Matthew Stafford have made progress, allegedly, on a new extension that should put him in the building with the Rams for the 26 off season. And people wonder every year if he's going to play. It looks like he's going to play. It's not done yet. His contract runs through 26, but McVay said earlier he believes Stafford should play beyond this season. Let's see what else I got. Cam Schlittler said the Red Sox fans have been sending him death threats, and his family getting death threats ahead of his Fenway Park debut on Thursday this week. Isn't that lovely? The fans in Boston sending death threats to a guy from Boston that plays for the Yankees. Pieces of shit. Odell Beckham Jr. worked out for the Giants yesterday, and a reunion with his former team is possible. You gotta be fucking kidding me. This guy's shot, he's done, he's not playing, he hasn't played. Now all of a sudden he's gonna walk back on and play for the Giants and do what? Besides nothing. I don't believe that for a minute, that he's actually gonna make it and play, because he's always injured and banged up. I won't deny he was good when he played, but he doesn't play anymore. A 35-year-old man named Andrea blank 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 sneaked past security at the Bergamo airport in Italy. He ran straight into the engine of the plane and was cut up into a million pieces and died immediately. The best part of it was watching it. They actually had someone videotape this. Guy runs on a runway, jumps in an engine, and gets spit out like nobody's business, dead on the spot. The Nets have signed Jordi Fernandez and the entire coaching staff to a multi-year deal. All of them, the head coach and all his assistants, got extensions. They're good to go. How fucking painful is this overhead lady talking at this fucking airport? I want to kill myself. Brandon Aubrey and the Cowboys reached agreement on a deal that'll make Aubrey the highest paid kicker in the NFL's history. The 4-year deal makes Aubrey the first kicker to earn $7 million per year and receive $20 million guaranteed. Ty Simpson turned down $6.5 million from the Miami Hurricanes to play quarterback for him, and everybody's saying that he's going obviously in the draft. This is where he needs to be drafted to break even. I think he has to go in the top 35 if he wants to break even with what he would have made playing for the Canes, and possibly, like, Beck did, play in a national championship game. Duke center Patrick Ngagba, I spit it out every time, Ngagba, returning next season in Durham. He's a good player. They need him back, and they got back Boozer's little brother that screwed up the national semifinal. Here's the deal. Niners and 12-time Pro Bowler Trent Williams reached agreement on a 2-year, $50 million extension that'll keep him with San Francisco through the 2027 season. Jose Ramirez of the Guardians became the 11th player in MLB history to reach 290 home runs and 290 stolen bases. And A.J. Brown looks like he's going to be a Patriot post June 1st. He's been wanting out of Philly. They've been working on it. Looks like they're going to get it done, allegedly. And all along, they've said the Pats were the team that wanted him the most. He'd go up there and play with Drake May. Looks like it's going to happen after June 1st, where he ends up in New England playing in Foxborough for the Pats. You should be good to go on a Tuesday. Keep an eye out for the Profits Elite and Max Profit plays, push plays, and any props that he puts up. Keep an eye out for my profit plays in the community. You get everything on a Tuesday. I'm flying back to New York. I'll check you freaks out, and we'll get it back to normal doing the show tomorrow from the home studio. Check out. Ooh.